Did you watch Golden Greed? Have you gotten your book from Justin Posey, Beyond the Map's Edge? Or maybe you just got the email from JCB about the fact that Golden Greed is on. I don't think there's ever been a better time to be a treasure hunter than right now in the history of treasure hunting. Maybe if you were a pirate, but I don't know. Stick with us. There's a lot to be said tonight. I'm Emma.
I'm Jam, and we are Treasure Hunt with Us. And I finally got my Beyond the Map's Edge book. You got yours earlier. I just got mine. I'm diving in.
I don't know why Amazon hates you. You do always get things later than me.
You know what it is? It loves Estes, Froggy. It gave him the book almost a week early. It gives me a book 3-4 days late. So
I got 2 of the 5 the day they said I'd get it the 27th.
Yeah. Someone ordered the book right away. I saw it today. And they got told it was going to be delivered this Thursday. And then they just got told late April. So at least we got it, right? Because that's brutal.
Of the 5 we've ordered, we've received 3, and 2 are also, one is the 12th and one is the 29th.
Wow.
So we'll see. The good news is here's what's a little bit different. There are, you can get the books electronically. I mean, he recommends getting both. Yeah. But you can get the book electronically, and it's actually very inexpensive. It's only $19.99 to get the book from his
cheaper, actually. It's cheaper.
It is cheaper, but there's nothing beats holding the book in your hand, flipping the pages, going back, texting here. But I'll tell you, I was at the chiropractor today and literally sitting there reading again, because why not round 3, right? Round 3.
Well, I like to, when reading this, I basically read the poem. As I'm reading through and a word from the poem hits me, I go back, read the poem, and then I read how that word might be context, like the word time constantly shows up. Obviously pole and hole and all those things. So every time I read a word that pops up in here,
pole and hole, those are your go-tos?
Yes, pole, hole, race, twist, mines. I'm back and forth.
Time, rhyme. Don't forget rhyme.
Time.
There's a lot of rhyme. There's a lot of rhythm.
Guard. I mean, it's all in there. And so as I read it, I'm like, back. Wait, what did that say in the poem? Wait, what did it say here? What did that say there? That's me right there. So
well, there's a lot to be said. So let's start with the top. What's at the top?
Golden Greed. Let's talk about Golden Greed. I think before we get into Golden Greed, watching that was great, first of all, but there was part of it. So my wife's a therapist. She works with really great people. To see what Justin had gone through, and really what a lot of people have gone through, it's really hard, right? It's really tough emotionally to have that type of thing happen, and to have to come out and talk about it, and to do a treasure hunt on it, to do him justice in the book, which we'll get into. If someone's struggling out there, reach out to someone, reach out on Discord, get on the communities, talk. You're not alone. You're not searching alone. You're treasure hunting with us. So reach out to us, reach out to other people. If you're struggling, reach out, get professional help if you need it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually good for people to be able to talk and speak their mind.
Right.
So,
well, and, kudos to Justin for bringing light to such a serious topic. And I think, nobody more than him understands what he dealt with. Nobody understands more than him dealing with suicide in your family. There's something to be said for the pain you're feeling when you're feeling suicidal. But I think that the thing people miss in those moments is the ripple effect of what you leave behind when you're gone. And people love you. And it's not to just say that they would miss you. They would be devastated without you. So talk to us. We're going to leave the suicide hotline number down here for you. Yeah. There's professionals, because none of us are professionals. And I mean, we've just seen the tip of the iceberg and some potential mental health issues. If you need us, we're here. We are treasure hunt with us. We're not leaving you behind. So
we're not professionals. So still reach out
to better people to be equipped to help you. But that doesn't mean we aren't willing to be here.
So. Yeah, and we're really just about having fun and a good time, but we did want to put out the service message. You're not alone. It's okay to struggle. There's nothing to shame about it. There's no shame in getting help. Get help, because we're gonna talk about this, and we've seen the devastation when we talked about this Forest Fan. A lot of really upset, mad, hurt, devastated people, and
Golden Greed, man, it brought the emotions. I wish I could have watched this with Capro. I really wish.
Really?
I could. Although I bet
over me.
Oh yeah, I guess you too.
Yeah.
And also, I bet for her that was hard to watch, because here's the thing: I mean, she's sprinkled throughout it. I mean, it comes roaring at you with Mike, right? Calazar's sitting right there, like he's on his way to New Mexico right in the first few minutes, and she's in there. They're sprinkled all over it. But you got to see in this show how the emotional highs and lows.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand the frustration too, because people talk and they're like, "Oh my gosh, why is he sharing information with some?" And the Hearst, I mean, I freaking
Oh
love
my gosh, the
them.
Hearst.
They're the people I like the most in there. They
Oh,
were great. I was like yeah, I was so enthralled. I was actually rooting for them to
You should
find
mention too Cynthia's video as well, because that was
yeah.
There's a lot of revelation in a single night. Actually, in a week. Look at all this stuff in a week. You've got a show with 3 episodes. You've got a new book. You've got a new poem. You've got Cynthia's video. You have all the after. I mean, this week's been a lot, right? It's been a lot this week, but never a greater time. Like I said, we weren't pirates. We're not from that era. Maybe they had a greater time treasure hunting, but never a greater time in recent history has there been. I mean, what is there? $4 million plus hunts going right now?
Yeah, there's a lot out there. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. But I thought Golden Grebe was fantastic. Like, listen, I was not part of the Forrest Fenn hunt. There's some people who are really pissed off with the way Golden Grebe was spun by Netflix, but for people like us who had nothing to do with Forrest Fenn, it gave me intel. Now, in Discord, there was a really nice chick named Indy, and she was like, listen, that's not the truth. That story is not the truth. And if she's right, listen, I didn't live your story. I didn't live your story. I'm sorry.
Or a
But I
lot
will
of
tell
people's
you,
story.
well, yeah, a lot of people's. Yeah, I didn't live your story. We didn't live your story. So for you, Golden Green didn't work, didn't give you information. It helped me with a lot of stuff. Now, tell me your favorite part.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I love the Hearst. I connected with them. I was actually rooting for them to find the treasure, even though I know that Jack finds the treasure. What's it called? We're not going to get into people saying, "Oh yeah, he didn't actually find it," but I was still rooting for him, even though I know they're not going to find it, which sucks, man. That's how much they sucked me in. They pulled me in. I like them.
You just wanted them to win, yeah.
I really I hope they're in the JCB hunt. You know what I mean? I'm rooting them on.
I mean, maybe they are. I mean,
they
live in Kentucky now. They live in Kentucky now, so there's a couple boxes that potentially could be very close to them.
That's right. The Pokemon box could be in Kentucky. So.
Well, I mean, like not far enough. Like Kentucky's local enough that you could go. You can go to Pennsylvania if you believe that that's where the Appalachian is. You can go. You can go to Ohio if you think the passage deeper is in Ohio, North Carolina for like 10 different versions of every single box.
I know.
I mean, Kentucky is literally right there, and I don't know where in Kentucky where I wasn't like, hey, what's your address? But Kentucky and North Carolina were right next to each other, and I mean that's his origin story, right? So there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, and I was watching it, and I thought Justin was great too. Obviously, I know you love Cynthia. I thought she was great.
I do love Cynthia. But my favorite part was when they're summing it up and they're about to close out the show. Mm-hmm. And what you see how Luby, like I could when Luby's wife pans to his son and like they're like, say hi, and he gives the eye roll. I can't tell you the number of trips I have like that in my life. Like where I'm like, oh my gosh, there's always one, right? Like it doesn't matter. We could be at literally Disney World and there was always one kid who's just like, oh, I'm a kid, I'm a teenager. I don't even want to be near you, you know? Yeah. So I totally could identify with Luby, but then he talks about how like, but I did that with my family. And then, you know, the Hearsts, when they talk about, they were not close. They were not a close family, and that brought this father and this son close, and that it saved his life.
The sons and the fathers weren't. I think they were always close to the mother and the sister.
Yeah, I mean, come on, I know how that.
I mean, they loved. As a matter of fact, I think that's why they fought so hard, was because of how much.
You want her to have the house. You want her and the sister to have the house. It's like. GoFundMe, let's do it. Yeah. Let's figure it out. But I mean, you're rooting, like you said, you're rooting for them, even though you know that in the end they didn't get the clues from Forrest to stop. And other people did.
Well, and that's what I've been trying to say. Yeah. So with the Hearst, I felt them when they're like, why didn't he tell us it wasn't there? Why did he just share that information? And I agree, man. If that's got to be rough, right? He tells some people to stop, other people's he doesn't. Oh my gosh, that would be beyond frustrating to me if I searched and spent so much time and energy and there's a whole bunch of other people that are finding out they're in the wrong place and then I'm not and stuff. Right. And or I'm so close and nobody gives me hints or clues and everybody else is
Right.
getting hints and clues. I can see the frustration. I resonated with it. I really liked them. They were my favorite part of the
I
thing.
will
And
tell you though, like when I watched it all my research about Forrest,
yeah,
and he was talking about like for him, he wanted people to get outside. He wanted to get them away from keyboards. He wanted to get them out from behind television to go out into the world. I mean, he did that.
yeah,
350,000 people searched for his treasure.
yeah, that's awesome.
350, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful for a man who took a stack of books to a bookshop and was like, nobody's going to want to read this, but I've incentivized them to read my story. And
Well,
then boom.
yeah, and more people now are treasure hunting than ever, right? We didn't know about the Forest Fen.
Right?
I never even heard about the Forest Fen.
The treasure is found, and I still bought the book.
Yeah,
Because how do I understand this without that, right? Because no matter what you say, Forest Fen is the start of 2 huge treasure hunts right now. That Forest Fen hunting is where JCB and Justin started treasure hunting. Now, I mean, we've read the Justin story. I think Justin's a lifelong treasure hunter, depending on what the treasure is, right?
Yeah.
But he's the foundation for which these 2 major hunts started. Like they're built on this, and it's like, so I thought it was really important to read his book. Read that. I also got the Chasing the Thrill. I got that because I thought you got to really understand that too. Like behind, there's
the chase, you mean?
No, Chasing the Thrill was written by another dude who's also a guy.
Another guy.
I feel like, listen, I feel like there's so many names. There's so many names and so many people, right? And it's not that you don't resonate with me. It's that I worked 12 hours already today and then I'm tired. And it's like the amount of hours I put in between watching. I mean, I've watched Golden Greed, no joke, 4 times. It's been out for 5 days.
Yeah, I've watched it twice so far. It's really good. I watched it. Me and my wife watched it, and we're going through there. There's a lot of stuff I got from that. I thought Justin was shocking before reading his book. I looked at him. I'm like, oh man, I'm in IT. That guy's a coder. I see him like a nerd. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing or anything like that, but he's just a guy that seems like he's having his most fun when he's programming and coding and building and doing stuff like that. That to me is Justin. And then I read his book and he's this treasure hunting kid that's breaking into freaking military bases and riding his bikes and flying off and doing crazy stuff and doing it all with his brother, his family. I love it.
But to your point, like maybe that's why you identify. Like I definitely identify with Justin, and like I will say that the read of Justin's book, which I mean I've read it all the way through twice now, and I'm on like the 3rd read. I think the read of Justin's book, for me, every time I see something else that I recognize, right? Like I recognize him. I don't know if it's because I'm an older sibling, and we were raised by a single mom for a long time. I was like 8 when my mom, well, I guess it's your mom too. I guess you can borrow her. But I think I was 8 when she remarried, and 10 when she added more siblings. So we're really lucky. We've got great siblings. But when he talks about like making their little hobby or hollow in the bottom of the truck while they were going on the posy trips and stuff like that, like I can identify. That's our childhood. You know what I mean? Yeah. When he talks about trying to break into places, I mean, I think about how when we were kids, we would leave at like 7 o'clock in the morning with like a slice of Kraft cheese sandwich and some crackers or like whatever we found in the cabinet. We would go out the door on the bike. We rode a bike with a flat tire sometime, no seat, just to go be part of adventures, just to go creek walking or sliding or
our older sister, me and you, we would have so much fun.
Well, right, but and that's the thing is like we come from a very blended family. Like we've got siblings from one parent here and a couple parents there, and that's fine. And the nice thing is that like, but we had an 8-year run where it was just the 2 of us, and we really became the most crucial playmates of each other, the greatest protectors and champions of each other. We could do and say whatever we wanted to each other. We could be as mean as we wanted or as nice as we wanted, but if anybody else was ever mean to us, they were going to pay, and you see that in Justin and Brandon. You see that, and I recognize that. And the part in that when he's talking and and you really even look in the very beginning of the book and you're like looking through the dedication. It's beautiful. I assume that's to his wife, but when you look at the prologue and he talks about the last time he and Brandon went hunting together and how he didn't realize that was Brandon saying goodbye. those moments as an older sibling when you're like, this is my best friend and literally the biggest pest sometimes. You don't really think about it because you just believe they're always going to be there. When I didn't catch that on the first read. So on the second read, when I read it and I called you and I was like, oh my God, I just read something and I want to read it to you because, oh my God, it hit me hard in my heart.
Yeah.
And it was just and I just get it. So I don't know if that's why I find myself drawn here right now, or the fact that it's a different kind of story, and it's about a treasure that has nothing to do with treasure.
Yeah. Before we get going, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, email us at comments@treasurehuntwithus.com. I'm gonna put the scroll on just for a little bit. We're gonna take that off because it's kind of annoying. But I will put it up there because we're over 350. We're trying to get over 500. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate you. We're about to dive into some clues that we read throughout this book. But the Golden Greed.
Do you want to talk about your favorite thing? Your favorite thing in this book has been one special thing, one bandit, if you will.
No, I do not want to talk about raccoons. I don't know why. JCB, I've never read a book with the word raccoon in it before, I don't think. And man, freaking JCB, raccoons, Justin, raccoons. He actually writes nonstop. There's a whole page with like 8 raccoons in it, colored illustrations with raccoons. And the whole time I was thinking, man, we should hunt this Forest Fen box because Justin's coming out and it's probably going to be based on the Forest Fen. We could basically do them both at the same time together. But really, he talks about raccoons. He talks about cicadas. He talks about a frog. He talks about dog. He talks about all this. And guess what? It's the Pokemon box. Okay. He's basically talking about the Pokemon box.
It's the Pokemon box.
Yes. Justin and the Pokemon box.
Just beyond the map's edge in Arkansas.
Beyond the map's edge. Beyond the edge of the edge, Arkansas. Both boxes are in Arkansas. I'm changed my mind. It's not a Forest Fen hunt. It's a Pokemon box hunt.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
There's a lot, though. There's so much. And like, we talk about word salad with JCB. When you get into this, it's like Justin is very verbose. And, he's articulate, but his use of certain words and the way he describes things, it's like, is this intentional or is this just descriptive? Did somebody tell you that this is how you write, or is this just how you want? You just felt like, I feel like each situation needed so much so you could feel like you were there. Like when the rattlesnake scene, when he goes running back into the grandpa, reminds me of Grandpa Tex.
Yeah,
remember
you're on the book,
Tex,
right?
like, you kids better get outside and play. It's like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Grandpa Tex. But like, and then he runs back outside again, and like, then there he is watching these 2 rattlesnakes in love, the love connection of rattlesnakes, and his grandpa saves him. Reminds me when Taffy stepped on my foot, Grandpa punched him to save me from him, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, Taffy, our pony.
Our pony.
Yeah,
the meanest pony you've ever met was Taffy.
Yeah. So going back to Golden Greed. Really quick, there was some things I noticed about it I wanted to mention before we dive into this book. The combo, right? So clearly he shows the combination was right 44, left 26, right 1, left 10. That was the safe combo. The clock, while it didn't appear to be moving to me, because there'd be times where he's talking, it cuts away, and a lot of times it's still on that same exact time. Now, granted, it may move to a different time because it's different cuts all over. They're pulling them. But for the most part, I don't think that clock, this is just my theory, that clock was not moving. And he set it to different times, and then you'd see it at different times. Because there's only about 6 to 10 different times the whole entire time he's doing it.
418 is a lot. 106 and 130. Like, I have a whole list of it. It's just upstairs.
605 or whatever, 405-ish. Those are all ish, right? Because, it's a analog, so...
Well, the one clue that I found interesting when I was watching through is the use of the Waterton Lakes map. So there's a spot where it's clearly like a reenactment of hunting, right? Mm-hmm. And Justin's pulling stuff out, and he pulls out the thrill of the chase, and he throws it down. And he throws out his journal, which he always had. He kept very detailed notes.
Yep.
He's at the back of his book of his truck, and he throws this yellow map on the tailgate, and it's like, Waterton Lakes National Park, which is not even in the United States.
It's not.
It's in Canada.
Yeah, and go ahead. No, I thought you were finished.
It meets Montana at Glacier National.
Right. And on the map, isn't there a picture, the one with the X? Isn't that in Canada?
Yeah, it's
one of
a
those
lake.
pictures in
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't think of the name of the lake. And actually that picture is on, Kipro pointed it out last night, and I had already done the reverse image search. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm such a nerd, right? I'm like, we're all the things that we accused him of being, but it's actually on his Instagram. When you actually look at it, you pull open his Instagram, it's actually there as Lake Louise, Alberta. So
Yes.
it's on his Instagram right there.
Right,
So
Canada. So it's beyond the map's edge, just beyond into Canada? I
right.
don't know. I mean, if you're taking everything literal, it shouldn't be on the map. It should be just beyond the map's edge. Why is it only showing just a little portion of Texas? Probably because it's the mountain time zone over. There's no central time zone. But he doesn't actually get all of mountain time zone, because some mountain time zone goes into Nebraska, South Dakota, even North Dakota has some central time zone. So he doesn't show all that. So it's interesting. It's really interesting. What you can deduct, is it a clue, or is that
when you read through? Remember, we were talking about this yesterday. We were talking about when I brought up the map to you, and I was like, "But we should be talking about Canada in the book." Like there is that whole the dubious decisions chapter of the book, which is all about Canada and his good friend Taylor Long.
That guy's
going
crazy.
into Canada. Huh?
Taylor's crazy.
Taylor's nuts. I still laugh about the fact that they found him in his underwear, and
he's the type of friend where you need a GPS attached to him. So I can't find him. Yeah, we need to mark this guy up. Keep him. We need an Apple. What is that? The Apple thing? Apple tag. On that guy. He needs to be chipped like a dog to make sure that he's safe. Yeah.
Like there's that whole chapter. So like as you go in, so here I see that map, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is this a hint? Is this a clue? It's like, I mean, here we are again. Everything's a clue. But he is very articulate and he's verbose, and not verbose in a bad way, but verbose in like he's creating an image, and he wants you to be able to see it, smell it, feel it. And you can with his use of words. It's beautiful. Right. Should we talk about the
book?
The elephant in the room, the poem.
The poem. Well, the poem, the book, I think so. So here we go. Let's jump off of Golden Greed. I loved it. I thought it was great.
It was great. Like it was a good story. Like if it's not true, it was a great story. If it's all true, then it was very amazing. Yeah. But it's no matter what, I grabbed a lot from it. There was a couple other things that I've grabbed as far as clues, and I'm going to kind of hold them back just for now, only because we're hunting these treasures too. But I'm sure we'll share them later. I mean, we don't really keep our hidden back clues very long.
Well, a lot of times when we talk about ourselves and why, like you were just in the stacks, right? So we give kind of like one or two clues on that, but we don't really go out boots on the ground unless we try to have at least 10 connectors to that site, minimum 10 and stuff. And we are going to try to be boots on the ground as fast as possible on this one.
We already right now have 2 spots, because people look at this and they see, like, they see here, you and I, and they assume it's just you and I, but there's really other people hunting in the background with us, coming up with solutions, also reading the books, also watching the videos, also doing the prep work. There's a lot going on. I know at first I was leaning one way, but now I'm kind of shifted another. The good news is that we don't have to only look in one place. We have no bias in location.
Right. And that's why right now that we're calling them spots, because they're not solved yet, right? We need those connector pieces. Like when you talked about going out to the stacks in North Carolina, and we only kind of mentioned, like, we're doing quick videos. We're doing that. We're not going into super detailed every single thing we found on that. We're just trying to give you the kind of a gist of them. Like when we went to Castle Rock, and then someone asked me for a more detailed one, and I gave them more detail. I listed off about another 10 things that fit in that location that we didn't even talk about.
Well, so, I mean, I don't know about you. I'm not going hiking if I don't think that box could be there. I just am not going hiking if I don't think I could possibly find a box.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go boots on the ground as much as we can in places that make sense. If they don't make sense, we're not going boots on the ground. Even the last place, the Castle Rock, we went there, and there was a lot of things that lined up and stuff. Unfortunately,
when we got there, a lot of pointers. There was over 10 pointers at Castle Rock, and it wasn't there. But that's the thing too about being boots on the ground. You get there and you realize the reasons. Like we were talking today,
you're like, oh.
We're debating in April when we take our trip whether just going straight to Arkansas or doing from Statesville to Houston trip in an RV.
I'm actually leaning that it's not going to be in Arkansas, even though I joked earlier. I
Yeah.
think there's a Pokemon it's landlocked in Pokemon Go to only these lower states, which
Yeah.
means it can't be in Arkansas or Tennessee or Kentucky. It can't
Yeah.
be in those.
Look
We're
at that.
not talking JCB, but
Yeah.
when we talk about that, because we are going to be doing a Pokemon again, we didn't abandon Pokemon. We haven't abandoned Past and Future. Past and Future is just snowed out.
Boots on the ground this weekend, Past and Futures
That's right.
up in the Appalachian.
Yes.
At a new location, even though I still want to go back to the stacks because I really think that what the stacks needs is good leaf blower.
Yeah.
So many spots. So many spots. It was beautiful. It was beautiful to be there, but there were so many places that box could have been hidden. But I mean, I would have had to been there for 10 hours to search all the places. And I will go back for as long as needed. But I did in researching, there was a secondary location that Scott wanted to hit. So this week is his turn to go to hit. We're going to go to his boots on the ground location and we'll look there. And if not, we'll go back to the stacks.
Yeah, no, I think it's great that you guys are looking in North Carolina. And as we say, we're a team and they're looking in North Carolina for the Past and Future box. And I'm like, ha ha ha, it's in Tahoe. You're in the wrong spot. Good luck. You're
right. But again,
time.
elimination as much as inclusion, right? Elimination as much as inclusion. It could very well be in Ohio. I'm just saying.
No, it could absolutely be in North Carolina. It could be in North Carolina, South Carolina.
There's a lot to be said for the parable side of things. There's a lot to be said for it. Okay, but let's go.
I told you. Let's get out of this damn Pokemon.
What? We're losing track? That's so shocking.
I know.
Okay, let's talk about this poem.
No more JCB.
That's why we lost track. We don't want to talk about poetry. That's what it is.
Here we go.
Okay, should we read it?
Let's do it. Go.
Beyond the Map's Edge by Justin Posey. Can you find what lives in time, flowing through each measured rhyme? Wisdom waits in shadowed sight for those who read these words just right. As hope surges clear and bright, walk near water's silent light. Round the bend, past the hole, I wait for you to cast your pole. In Ursa East, his realm awaits, his bride stands guard at ancient gates. Her foot of 3 at 20° return her face to find the place. Double arcs on granite bold, where secrets of the past still hold. Beyond the reach of time's swift race, wonder guards this sacred space. Truth rests not in clever minds, not in tangled, twisted finds. Like a river's steady flow, what you seek, you already know.
You read that beautifully. You had honey in your voice. So what you just read in that poem, what you seek, you already know, tells me that if you read this whole book, you're going to know how to understand this poem, right? So you already know it. It's going to feel like you already know it because you've read the book. You read all over 200 and something pages. You're going to have to read it a whole bunch of times, and then you're going to be like, this kind of makes sense. That's how I take it.
I mean, the reality is you will never understand this poem if you do not read the first part, read the book.
I thought I was like, that's mean. Maybe I'll understand it.
Well, I mean, think about it. The poem is on page 201 for a reason. There's stuff to know, and you won't know it if you don't read it. And so when I think about this, and I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, there's so much here. There's so much here. He's trying to give you the directions, coordinates. The poem is the map. The poem is the map.
Yeah, and matter of fact, we talked about Brown being capital last time, right? In this poem, you read whole, capital HOLE, is the only capital that's not a very first letter of a sentence. So obviously it has to be a pronoun, right? For it to be capitalized. So that's interesting. Looking for something with whole, that's right away.
Have you ever heard of Hole in Rock, San Juan, Utah?
I have now. So the other thing I noticed, the double arcs, right? I mean, we're still researching. Could rivers be arcs? Can there?
You know that just west of Hole in Rock, San Juan, Utah, is Corona and Bow Tie Arcs, west of Moline.
I have, and then we're talking about granite, right? And the granite's so bold, so to me, obviously, it's got to have granite there, right? So,
welcome to the Rockies.
The whole Rockies is granite.
There's a lot of granite in the
There'll be
Rockies.
a lot of granite. Yeah. So as I read it though, like every time I'm going back and forth. That's why it's great to have the book, right? So I have the poem always open, and then I'll go back and I'll be like, oh my gosh, he's talking about time. And then I flip back to the poem because I just leave my finger in there and be like, what does it say about time? What lives in time? There's another time in here too. So there's multiple times in here, time's swift race. And so I'm like, does this part of the book, is it speaking to this poem? So there's a lot of words that as you read it, the words whole, pole, time, rhyme, those are all words that just show up in the book. And so therefore,
and don't forget that 20 degree is in this, if you're looking in the sky, 20 degree is your thumb to your pinky tip. Hey, brah.
Yeah.
Hey, brah.
Yeah.
That's what 20 degree is if you're holding it up in the sky. So it talks too about the fact of the feet. I mean, there's really only 3 constellations with feet, including Orion. Just saying, right there, Ursa Major and Minor.
Yeah, well, and speaking of Ursa Major, this is my finding of it. The Ursa Major back in the day was kind of named one thing. It was what's it called? But then Galileo spotted it, and he claimed that both stars are moving together in proper motions in a binary star format. And yes, I'm reading this. There's no way I would remember it. We find 2 or more stars.
They have the same mass. There's a lot of stuff.
We find 2 or more stars that are present in outer space where one remains constant and the other revolves around it. But in this case, both have the same center of mass of their own. They take orbit through the cosmos. So this twin star symbolizes the bond of husband and wife. In Ursa's east, his realm awaits. His bride stands guard at ancient gates. And that's Mazar and Alcor who are in the Ursa Minor. So
I mean, that's true too. But the only problem I struggle with in the Ursa story is that Ursa Minor is the sun and Ursa Major is
I meant Ursa Major. They're both next to each other in the Ursa.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, but like it's.
You're welcome.
Ursa East could really mean bear right or bear east, bear west kind of thing. It could mean that. There's so much to be learned here.
Right, because Ursa's bear, right? So it could just it's not capitalized. Yeah,
not capitalized.
So it could just be saying bear east, as in like you're kind of bear east.
Well, you know what you know me. I'm reading this, so of course I stuck on one explicit line. Do you know what it is?
For you, I don't know. It could be anything.
For those who read these words just right.
Yeah. Well, I looked at all the words on just the right. That was the first thing I said. Well, what do you got?
Well, I reached out to the one person who ciphers like a mofo. And I was like, oh, I've got a question. Because it made me wonder, was there a cipher here? It's like I feel like there's something to be said. Even Froggy was saying that he felt like the lines weren't in the right order, or maybe we need to reorder the lines. So there's a lot to think about. This book is fresh. This book is new. And as much as we want to get boots on the ground, we agree that there's a lot to still learn. We're still thinking about how do we get ourselves in alignment with going and looking for a box. And most importantly, Justin's going to be on K-Pro and Calzar tonight. I got $5 that asks at least 1, maybe 2 questions.
I'm excited about your question. What's your question you're going to ask? Because there's one that we really want to know.
Do you know JCB?
Do they know each other? Were they aware that they were both going to be doing these treasure hunts?
Because there's a lot of supposition, but Justin buried his box in 2023. And JCB's boxes were buried in 2024. It's like, did you know each of you was doing this? Were you waiting to launch? Was Justin held up by Netflix? I have like 4 other questions that I've been told I'm not allowed to ask because we want to wait and use those questions when we interview Justin someday. Don't worry, Justin. We're gonna get you on our show too.
We talked to Justin. Justin said he'd come on here. What a good guy. We're gonna come on. We are going to interview him. We have questions too, but that one we want to know.
In a Calzar K-Pro live that he would come.
Calzar's Mike and K-Pro live tonight. Justin's going to be on there. If you're watching the Maps Edge, I got to get this out. Actually, I don't have much time to get this video out.
We're going to wrap this up, boys and girls, so that we can be there in time to watch the live. Again, I'm going to spend $5 to ask the question. Did you know JCB? I may even spend $5 more to be like, were you consciously aware of his hunt when, or were you worried about how his hunt would impact yours? Things like that. I'm really excited to see what he has to say about it.
Yeah, and we'll ask that when we get him on. So
No,
you're
they
only
can
allowed to buy one question
I'm
today.
buying 2 questions. I'm only allowed to buy 2
What are your
questions.
2 questions? Let me hear them.
I haven't decided yet. You know one. I've got 4
Don't you
revolving
do
doors.
another one. Do not do the good ones. We want to save the good
I
ones for
won't
us.
do the good ones. I might do a
Don't
medium
you
one,
do the
but
good ones.
not a good one.
Do
Okay,
not
well,
do our
thanks for
best
watching,
ones.
guys.
Don't ask him where the box is.
Yeah, where's the box?
Where's the box?
But we'll be back this week with some more videos. Sorry this took so long. There was a lot to unpack this week, and Jam not getting his book held us up.
That's right.
Thanks,
We're here
Amazon.
though. We're jamming. Yeah, Amazon again. They hate me. So Jeff Bezos, you should send me some money. Like $1 billion will do. 1 billion
will make
should
it
be
feel
good.
better. That's fair.
I'll be
That's
satisfied. Fair. Yes. Well, I get my packages late. I should get compensation. So
right, for sure. Okay, well, we'll see you guys all out there later on, and we'll be back later on this week. We the truth, yeah.